Hey, thanks for coming to 1500ESPN.com. I'm Derek Wetmore. I'm going to share with you my 5 thoughts from Thursday's Twins game. It was a 9-5 win against the Seattle Mariners, the first of a 4-game set. Thought number 1, Eddie Rosario almost hit for the cycle. He was very close. He had the 3 hardest parts taken care of and then had 2 cracks at trying to get the single. A line out to center and then a leaping catch on a line drive to the shortstop were his final bids for the cycle. Rosario said after the game that he did have one cycle before he even got to rookie ball. It was extended spring training, so it would have been at the very beginning of his professional career. Would have been a cool moment for Rosario. He instead settled to go 3 for 5 with 2 hard-hit outs. Not a bad night at the plate for Rosario, and as I wrote in my 5 thoughts column, he's having a very nice rookie year for the Twins, and it's looking like a piece for the future. Thought number 2, speaking of pieces for the future, I'll bet this guy has a hand in the Twins' future. Miguel Sano filled in at third base for Trevor Plouffe, who's on paternity leave after the birth of his first child. He is expected to miss Friday as well. He'll probably be back with the team Saturday if all goes according to plan. Sano filled in nicely. He had a couple of ground balls in the first inning, both short hops, tough plays, including the first one that kind of jumped up on him off of the grass, and he made both. I was impressed with the glove. You see a big hulking guy like that, you don't necessarily expect him to be as dexterous as he proved to be on Thursday. 2 nice short hop pickups for Sano. He'll hold down the fort probably till Plouffe is back, and I think he showed off the arm first of all. Second of all, he showed that he could probably hold down the fort if need be. But the guess here, overwhelmingly likely that it's Plouffe's job when he returns. He's earned that right. Thought number 3, Aaron Hicks has been fantastic for the Twins, specifically since he got back from the disabled list after a strained forearm. He got back, I believe, on June 3rd, if I have that date correctly, and Hicks has been a superstar ever since that time. Right-handed, left-handed, in the field, even on the bases. Hicks stole his 9th base of the season on Thursday. He also had 3 hits and was intentionally walked to get to Joe Mauer. How often does that happen? There's a lefty reliever in the game, so it makes sense, lefty-lefty matchup, but Mauer handles lefties pretty well, and it says a lot about Aaron Hicks that a team with 2 outs and first base open would put him on intentionally to get to Joe Mauer. I wrote all about Hicks' hot stretch here in my 5 thoughts column, so check that out, 1500ESPN.com. He's certainly been one of their best players, if not their best player, in the month of July, and the Twins and Hicks are hoping that continues. Thought number 4, speaking of hoping that continues, Brian Dozier with another leadoff home run. That's an amazing 13 in his career. I believe it was his 6th of the season. That 13 surpasses Dan Gladden on the Twins all-time list for leadoff home runs. Gladden and Dozier had been tied for 3rd at 12. Now Dozier has 13. He takes over sole possession of 3rd place on that list. 1 more, he catches Chuck Knobloch. I believe he needs 7 more to catch Jock Jones, who is the Twins' all-time leader in leadoff home runs. That's a pretty amazing number. Dozier, though, what more can you say? 22 home runs before the month of August begins. That's a fantastic total for any middle infielder. A second baseman who runs the bases as well as Dozier does and who plays as good of defense. Just an incredible season for the Twins' second baseman, and he led off the game in a good fashion once again for Minnesota. Thought number 5, a bit of a downer. Phil Hughes, 5 innings, 5 earned runs, including 2 home runs. That's been a season-long problem for Hughes. In fact, he now holds the Major League lead for home runs allowed. I believe those were his 24th and 25th, if I have those stats correct. That's obviously been a concern for Hughes this whole year. He's still not walking anybody, but his strikeout rate's down in part because he can't miss as many bats with his slightly diminished stuff, as he says. And he's also given up home runs at I wouldn't call it a dramatic rate, but a high rate. I mean, he's a fly ball pitcher, so he's going to give up a lot of home runs. Molitor said as much before the game. It's not real surprising that some of those fly balls tend to leave the yard. That's just what happens, but it has been a concern for Hughes and for the Twins, frankly, for that matter, because they need Hughes to be better. If they could get the Hughes that they got down the stretch last year, if they could get that Hughes down the stretch this year, that would be a huge 1-2 punch with Ervin Santana atop the Twins rotation and would be big for their postseason aspirations. Of course, with everybody around the American League seemingly adding either a bat or an ace, it's going to be an uphill battle, I think, for the Twins here in the final 2 months, stretch run to the postseason. But we'll see. Friday's trade deadline day. I expect the Twins to make a move. I think that they'll deal for a reliever, but you never know. Things can fall apart quickly, and just as quickly, things can materialize. So I'll check back in with you Friday after the game to check in on the Twins at the trade deadline, and also Friday night's game against the Mariners. That'll do it for this 5 Thoughts video. Thank you for coming to 1500 ESPN.com. Until next time, I'm Derek Wetmore. I'll catch you later.